Hello everyone, welcome back to our next session in Core Python playlist. In previous session, we have talked about slicing and list. In this session, we'll be exploring one more data type, that is tuple. So if you remember, while discussing about data types, I have uh, discussed about tuple in short. So tuple is a data type which we denote or which we write with a round bracket. Let me just enlarge it for you. So for example, I'm taking a tuple by the name t equals to. So instead of square brackets, we'll be going with round brackets now. So just like list, we can have any type of data inside our tuple. So simply means our tuple is also heterogeneous in nature. Second important thing is it tuple also have indexes just the way list has. So you got positive index and a negative index, right? So positive starting from left to right and negative indexing starting from right and then going up to left. Okay, so what is the difference? I'll be discussing about the difference first. Let me show you uh like what exactly it is. Okay, so that's how I have defined a tuple, and let me just show you the type of t. So it is clearly telling me that it's a tuple. So if you're going with round brackets, that becomes a tuple. All right, so what is the difference between tuple and less than? If you see, everything seems to be similar except for a round bracket and square bracket, right? So the biggest difference is once you declare your tuple, you cannot modify it. Whereas the list, we have inserted the element, we have appended the element, we have sorted it. So there are anything that you can do with the list. So that thing is called as mutable. So list is mutable, whereas your tuple cannot be modified. For that reason, it's called as immutable. Understand, that is the only difference between tuple and the list. Otherwise, rest of the things are same. They are heterogeneous in nature, the slicing is same, everything is same. All right, so uh, let me show you how to access the element. Okay, so remember guys, whenever we want to access the element, we always go with square brackets. All right, so indexing will always be the square bracket. Like if you are accessing tuple, it doesn't mean that we will be going with the round brackets. Okay, so for accessing element, we have square bracket, and these square brackets, I'm showing you that it's a list. It is just for what? Indexing purpose. So let me just show you t of 0 if I'm going with. So you can see it's that is your first element, that is 0. So you can understand from right hand side, we should get a negative indexing as well. Sorry, we should get a negative indexing as well from left hand side. So if I go with t of for example -1, so it should show me the last element. It's showing me the last element. Can you see this? So negative index, positive index, whatever we have discussed in the previous session is applicable for the tuple as well. So let me show you one more. Like for example, if I'm going with colon -1, if you remember, it will give me the values in reverse order. I can see 4.5212. That is what I'm getting. So those who are watching tuple video directly, they have not seen the slicing video. That was my previous video, so I request you to see that video if you want to learn the concept of slicing. All right, so I hope you understood the slicing concept exactly same. Only the important part here to remember is you have to go with square bracket while accessing the element of the tuple as well. Okay, so it's universal. Always remember, whenever you want to access the elements through indexing always goes with square bracket. All right, so and now as I said, it's immutable. So any changes that you want to make into the tuple won't be allowed. Okay, so for example, I'm saying t dot append, and I'm saying to add 56 to it, so I will be getting an error clearly mentioning that tuple object has no attribute append, so there is no function called append, as it's immutable. All right, so of course we won't be having anything called as insert as well. So for example, I'm saying insert at position 278. This won't be allowed because you're trying to modify the tuple basically. Okay, but yeah, other things that we have discussed, like len of, for example, if I'm saying len of t, we'll be getting the value as total number of elements that we have in the tuple, right? And then we have something called as count as well, if you remember. So I can call on t and say count how many times 34 are there into my tuple, and it will show me 1 because 34 is there one time, right? For example, if I'm saying t dot count 99, so it will say 0 because there is no 0 in my list, so the count is 0. All right, and we can also access the index as well. So I can say t dot index, and I'm asking it to give me the index of 12. So it will say me that your t, let me just print the t so that it should be easy for you to understand. Yeah, 12 is at index 0. And for example, if I'm saying show me where this armor is, it will be clearly telling you that it is at index 2, 0, 1, 2. All right, so anything that you're trying to access any element from the tuple, and if you have any function related to it, you are allowed to use that function. But yeah, any function like insert, append, sort won't be allowed because you're modifying the tuple. Is that clear? So that's it. That's what we have inside tuple. There is no other thing to tuple. But yeah, there can be a question in your mind. So why do we use tuple when we are fine to go with list? So there will be some scenarios into your programs where you don't want to change the values of some variables. You want to keep them constant throughout the program. So in such cases, your tuple will be a better thing for you. All right. So for example, if you have a tuple, let me tell you one more thing. If you have a tuple and you want to insert elements to it or append values to it, so how you can do it? So in that case, simply what you can do is create a list, right? And typecast your tuple to the list. For example, I can see Lee equals to list of t. So now you got Lee as one variable, which is a list. Now you can modify the list. Again, you can convert Lee to tuple. You can typecast that. Like for example, we don't do this, but yeah, I'm just telling you in the case, like if you have a situation where you want to modify, you will convert it into list, make changes into it, and then you can simply write something like this. Like for example, I'm going with Lee dot append. All right, Lee dot append, and I'm saying append 99 to it. It'll be fine for me. Then I can redefine t. I'm allowed to redefine the variable all over again, but I am not allowed to modify it. So I can write t equals to, and I'm saying convert it to tuple. What? Convert Lee to tuple. And now you can see t is having one more element, that is 99. So yeah, you can modify list, but you're not allowed to modify tuple. In that case, you can convert your tuple to list and make all the changes that you want to do, and then again redefine the variable. All right, so I hope you understood the session. In next session we'll be talking about dictionary and set. There are two data types and a string as well. That's what we have into the coming session. All right, that's it for this session. Thank you everyone.